Welcome back to Mariners Down Under. It is your weekly and positive look at the Seattle Mariners, just with an Australian twist. Now, it has been a little bit of a while since I've done an episode, and I'll tell you what, I do have a pretty good reason why. I'm back from Seattle, and we've had a bit of movement at the major league level, and we've got some good news. Down in the minor leagues, there is so much to get to and so much to cover. Of course, we'll today have yet another interview. It'll be our first with a 2025 Mariners draftee. You're not going to want to miss it. It's jam-packed, so let's get into it. So the Mariners are on their road trip, and they're about to make their way to Philly to face what's a real tester over there. But with how good this lineup has taken shape lately through the trade deadline, and also the fact we're due for a little bit of good luck. Like, we didn't play our best baseball against the Mets. We all know that. I feel like the tables have got to turn for us. I feel confident that we're going to do some great things. So after the Mets series, which unfortunately we only won one game, the boys sit at 68 and 57, which places us second in the division. That's 1.5 games out of first, and of course behind the Houston bloody Astros. And we're tied at the top with Boston in the wild card standing as well. So, look, we do have a little bit of wiggle room. Cleveland, who are the first team out of the wild card, they've lost their last three. They're 3.5 games back, and they look a bit, But, they kind of, I don't know. They're a bit disappointing. Nobody outside of that wild card has really given me the irrits right now. So, I feel confident in our guys, but I want that AL West crown. So we'll cross our fingers for Philly. We're set up, thankfully, for this away stand, thanks to our 9-1 home stand that we just had, which featured some absolutely bloody brilliant baseball. Some comebacks, some fights for the ages, including what I am calling the Cal Raleigh game. That was our 3-2 win against Tampa on the Friday night, the first night of the Ichiro weekend. And if you're a regular listener, you'll know I made the trip over from Australia for this. So, first of all, shout out to United Airlines. That's the most sarcastic shout out I've ever given in my life. So I get to Melbourne Airport. I'm running on time. Everything's planned to a T. I'm going to get into Seattle. I'm going to have plenty of time, right? I'm going to be able to chill. I'm going to be able to go to where I'm staying, have a shower, drive out to Everett, go and watch the Aqua Sox. I'll have so much time I won't have to stress. Well, United have a worldwide shutdown, don't they? And we get stuck on the tarmac for nearly 3 bloody hours. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the time go and I'm thinking, bloody hell, I'm not even going to make this. I'm not even going to make the Aqua Sox game. I was filthy because I was throwing out the first pitch and I was pretty excited about that one. So we're waiting and eventually we get going. And whoever our pilot was, he needs a pat on the back. I reckon he shaved about an hour of flight time. And then I land in San Francisco and I've got to clear customs. And I reckon at that stage I might have had about 50 minutes to get through immigration, get my bags and get to my domestic flight out from San Fran to Seattle. And customs need a pat on the back, got me through. It was a bit sus. They were kind of like, well, hang on, you've been here twice in a month and a half. Like, are you doing something you shouldn't? I'm like, no, I just really like baseball, and I'm a single dad, and I've got to come for these 2-day trips because I've got to get back from my daughter. There's a wild explanation. But anyway, get through. Thankfully, my bag is one of the first on the carousel, and I'm racing. I get to my domestic flight, and they've delayed that one too. So ended up landing in Seattle, had enough time for a quick shower, get out to the Aqua Sox. To Peyton and Evan, who work for the Aqua Sox, class humans. The Aqua Sox really looked after me, whether it was freebies, discounts in the store, private tours of the stadium, taking me up to where the clubhouse is, getting some guys down so I can have a yarn with them. The Aqua Sox really couldn't do enough, and they've got a really nice setup out there. As I mentioned before, like, I'm a dad. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. She loves baseball. She just loves getting out. She loves being active. She loves sport. And if you've got kids, like, not taking anything away from the Mariners, like, the Mariners do a fantastic job including families and activating that space. But the Aqua Sox, that environment was really warm and welcoming. Like, you can take your kids out there. There's plenty to do. There's a grassed area. The players are all great. They can meet the players. I just think they run a really high-class organisation out there. And also, if you think I'm a little bit chocked up this week, it's because I am. I copped a copped a bit of a bug on the way back because it's winter in Australia, and of course, my daughter picked up something at playgroup or whatnot. But yeah, just really rate the Aquasock. So if you've got the opportunity to go out to Everett, please go and do. Like it's a cool, it's a funky looking stadium, and they really do look after you out there. So as I said, they brought me out to throw out the first pitch, which was pretty exciting. So go out there and line up, and I'm doing it with a couple of other people. And there's a lady out there, and she is stressing. She was going first in the group. I was throwing out the second pitch. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, all right, beautiful. She's going to screw her pitch up. So all I got to do, right, I just got to get in the zone and I'm going to look good. This lady, she was an absolute superstar. Trots up there, bang, dots it. Probably that would have been a strike at the major league level. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, wow. And I've walked up and I'm thinking, oh my God, I couldn't get out of there quicker than a cat on a hot tin roof. I just wanted to throw that ball and walk out. So how would I put it? Curtis Washington Jr. was catching it. He's going to be on the podcast in a couple of weeks. If the outfield doesn't work out for him, he should be a catcher because he caught what I can only describe as a slider off the plate, and he made it look half presentable for me. So thanks to Curtis for that one, and thanks to the Aquasox. Being able to meet the players too was incredible. I just met some high-quality individuals. So Teddy McGraw, who's on our next episode, that interview's already been pre-recorded. Amazing human. Curtis, amazing. Colin Davis is coming on, amazing. Ty Pete, he's coming on the podcast. Oh, I actually forgot he was 19. He didn't turn 20 until after I'd left, I don't think. The kid's built like a brick shit house. Like he is. I need his workout regime. Like he is an athlete and a half. Such a nice young guy. Like really, really nice fella. Got to catch up with Josh Carron after the game and say g'day. Which was really nice because, we appreciate all the players that come on the podcast. So, incredible opportunity. And then the next day we're in Seattle, do the tour of T-Mobile Park. Cannot for the life of me, and I'm spewing, cannot remember the lead tour guide's name, but the other guy that was with us, the other tour guide, Hunter, those two fellas were just awesome. Their knowledge of the Mariners, knowledge of the stadium. If you haven't done a tour of T-Mobile Park, I strongly recommend you do that. Just a beautiful place. Get to go out on the field, get to get into all the little nooks and crannies, and just see the ballpark from a completely different viewpoint. And it's kind of, do I dare say, it's nearly spiritual. Like as a Mariners fan, being in that place where there've been good memories, not as many memories as we would have liked. If we can get a World Series, it'll be better. But just being able to take in the sights and sounds of the ballpark without having to rush to your seat, without feeling rushed, was amazing. So definitely recommend doing that. And then the game, to go down 2-0 early, I was spewing. Everyone that knows me knows that I come over at least once a year, and I never have any luck. Like I think I'm the Mariners' bad luck charm. And I think I was like maybe 2 wins and 6 losses. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, nah, like I reckon I'm cooked. So last year I went 1-5. Yeah, the year before I went 1-2. Like I just don't have any luck, right? So it's 0-2. And then Cal comes up and hits that 3-run home run. And I don't think my voice has recovered from then. Like I lost it. I thought I was going to pass out. I was yelling so hard. I was lucky I didn't knock someone out that was near me. My arms were flying everywhere. I was so excited. Just an incredible experience, like surrounded by 20, 30,000 people wanting the exact same thing as me. It was so uplifting. And then during the game, sort of, got to say good day to Julio and then caught up with him after the game, which was amazing. And shout out to a couple of my mates that made the trip up there too. They didn't make it specially for me. They were already going to Ichiro weekend. But Brandon and Aldo, just legendary human beings, going to hit up spring training with them in February. Made the weekend what it was. And Bryn as well for hooking me up with, all the transportation, the accommodation, just everything. So this is what fandom is to me. It's, we're supporting a team, but we're also meeting people and we're creating these friendships and these connections. And it was just an amazing weekend all up. But a big thumbs down to Hooverville Bar for not letting me in. I wasn't intoxicated. I just didn't have my passport. Who's going to carry, right, when you're planning to have a big night out? I don't care what the rules are. Who's going to carry the only ticket that they have to get home to their own country? Who's going to carry that with them when they're on a night out preparing to get sourced? I do not know. Considering I've gotten to Hooverville every other time with just my Australian driver's license, big thumbs down to whoever was on the door, because he wanted to fight and we just won, and I wasn't prepared to get into any of that sort of mischief. Very aggressive. So thumbs down to Hooverville. But some good news surrounding the team. We'll get past Hooverville here. Luke Rayleigh, he's back after smacking the absolute snot out of the AAA pitchers. The resulting move is Miles Mastrobuoni being optioned down to Tacoma. Now, Logan Evans has landed himself on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation. He didn't look sharp in his last outing. It was pretty ordinary, and clearly something was wrong with him. So 15 days on the IL to rest up. Hopefully everything gets right with him, and that bit of a niggle can settle down for him, and he can get back to his best. So, wishing him all the very best in his little short-term recovery. Taylor Saucedo is now up on the team for him. Bryce Miller, he allowed 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk over 5 2/3 in Tacoma on the 13th. Now, 51 of his 76 pitches were strikes. The best thing for me, though, watching Bryce or watching the highlights, is it seemed to be that his velo held, which that was a major concern last time he was up with the major league roster. Like, I feel like he'd have a good inning or two and then that velo would drop off. And obviously the potency of those pitches that he has, he goes from being one of the best pitchers in all of baseball to being, slightly hittable at times. So it was really good to see him, maintain that velo and that command throughout as well. Victor Robles, well, didn't I have to change this in the last 24 hours? So doesn't really matter where he's at with his recovery. He's about to be suspended. I don't know if you saw the highlights, but today in AAA, he got hit by a pitch. Now, watching the replay, it kind of seems like he was swinging at the pitch. It's so hard to tell from me, because I've never played baseball, but it kind of looked from the get-go that pitch was going to hit him. So I don't know why he was swinging in the first place. But he's gone, he's had a swing, the ball's plunked him, and he's lost his shit. I'm not joking, he's thrown his bat at the pitcher. Like, when's the last time you saw that? So he might find himself with a bit of a timeout. He's put himself in a bit of a mischief here, actually. So I'm not really sure what update to give you here other than I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon, unfortunately. Ryan Bliss, now he could potentially return by the end of the season. They're talking a September rehab, which, look, that is months. Like, he is way ahead of his scheduled return. So, it's a wait and see at the moment. And Trent Thornton, poor guy. So he's 6 to 8 months away after that Achilles tear that he suffered falling off the mound trying to cover first base. Like, as I said, poor guy. Like, he is just such a likable person. So 3 positive points for the week. Cole Young. Cole Young has really impressed me. There were really high expectations when he came up. And at the time of his call-up, it was a real shot in the arm for this team. For the season, he's accumulated 1.2 WAR in 178 at-bats with a batting average of 247. And in the last 15 games, it's actually seen him hit 270. Now, he is prone to go cold. This month, there's a lot of 0-hit games and consecutive games like that too. But the game against the Mets, which was game 1 of the series that we've just finished, he gets 3 hits with 2 doubles. And, there were a few multi-hit games last month where you just go, righto, there's the talent, there's the excitement. So, for me, he's a positive point. He's really given us something, and I'm excited for him long term. It does raise questions, though, on Ryan Bliss, who we just spoke about. Rhino had won the job in pre-season. Not sure what really is going to happen there, but hey, that's a problem for future me. That's a problem for spring. But Cole Young, positive point number 1 for the week. Positive point number 2. So I am a huge Josh Naylor fan. I advocated for him pre-season. I advocated for him at the trade deadline, which we all did. And I'm sure we are all advocating for him to be re-signed as well. He's a great player. He is, for a guy that refuses to smile, he is a very, very likable player. And he's a long-term option at first base as well. So batting 286 on the season with an OPS of 801. That's hitting 317 in the last 15 games. The average is actually down with Seattle compared to what it was with Arizona, but we have played a lot in T-Mobile Park as well. And then he's had that shoulder thing too. But it's the steals and it's the value all over that gets me. I mean, he's got 11 steals in only 20 games with Seattle. He's also 84th percentile in batting run value, 88th percentile in K rate. He squares the ball up as well. He's 86th percentile in his square percentage. There's been a few times where there have been clutch moments and the results haven't come from him. But hey, all in all, he's been great and he definitely deserves a nod. So Josh is making things happen even without the bat. And, you know, that's all you can ask for. Now, third, let's take a look at Julio's season and these percentiles from Baseball Savant. Batting run value, 74th. Base running value, 84th. Fielding run value, 94th. Ex-batting average, 78th. Ex-slug, 84. Hard hit percentage, 73. Bat speed, 95. It is 5.2 wins above replacement with 24 home runs and a 259 batting average. His last 30 games, he is hitting 290. And in his last 7, he's hitting 357. This guy is playing some of the most sneaky and underrated baseball going round. And I know that we know him and as Mariners fans, and I know that this fan base always demands perfection from Julio, but gosh, he is having just a great season. And the scary thing is, like, he has so much more room to grow as a player and a person. Like, his ceiling is so high. And at 24, I think we forget, like, he's not even 25 now. He is such an amazing human being. He's such an amazing ball player. And what we expect from him, I feel like sometimes we expect so much, but yet we don't give him his flowers when he delivers. And yes, he's got areas to work on, don't we all? But, gosh, we need to give this man a round of applause. Like, seriously. He is playing out of his skin right now, and he is our third positive point for the week. Also, before we get into our friends of the podcast, I just wanted to quickly run through our latest giveaway. So it still hasn't gone off. We're so close. We only need like 150 more followers on Instagram, and then we'll get around it. So a quick reminder, just off the top of my head, what it was. It's a signed Dan Wilson number. There's a signed Cal Raleigh rookie card, which the value on that keeps just going sky high. So that's an investment, that one right there. There's a signed Dom Canzone card. I think that's numbered to 10. That's on card. Matt Brash auto, on card auto from his rookie year. There's a Munoz auto. There's a Josh Hood auto. There's a George Kirby numbered Bowman first. There's heaps in there anyway. So you're going to want to get around it. All you've got to do is follow us on Instagram. You're automatically in the draw. And as soon as we hit 1,000 followers, that one's going to be given away. And our next prize pack, that's one that you're going to want to get around that next one. Trust me. So in terms of the minor leagues, it was great to go out and see the Everett Aquasox play. And a number of our podcast mates have been coming up really big lately. And you know that we love to promote the work that these fellas are doing. So here's a few standouts over the last little bit. After an exceptional June where he posted a 1.13 ERA, Ryan Sloan has been promoted to the Aquasox. I missed him by literally 2 days, and I am so filthy on that. I really wanted to shake his hand and thank him for coming on the podcast because, you know, him coming on just gave us a hell of a lot of credibility. He was an amazing chat. He's an amazing player. Like, I really believe in Ryan Sloan. In 4 outings in June, he only gave up 4 runs and 2 errors, and he struck out 20. Yep, he struck out 20 in 4 outings. He's that good. Josh Caron has bounced back to start off August. He's hitting 240 so far with 6 hits, 9 total bases, and a really nice triple the other day. Our good mate Charlie Bielenson got some good news. Charlie's coming back on the podcast. I'm chatting with him next week. Which is really exciting because I wanted to create these friendships with these guys, right? And these connections where they knew this was a safe place to come on. And we haven't had a return guest yet. And Charlie was one of the first ones out of that elite Aquasox bullpen to be promoted to Double A. So I'm super keen to unpack that experience of being promoted and going to a new situation, and then the band getting back together. Like Stefan Wraith's in there, Tyler Cleveland's in there, Chuck's in there. Like the band's back together again. So he'll be on. He's been exceptional in Arkansas, posting a 0.0 ERA so far this month, and that's in 4 outings and 5.1 innings of work. Tyler Cleveland, he's on the same wavelength, a 0.0 ERA over 4 outings, giving up just 1 hit. Now, my hot take, and this is the hottest of hot takes, my hot take is if we can't get Bryce Miller back in the rotation or in the pen, no matter what option he is, that would give us options of other blokes going in the bullpen. So I get that. But take Bryce Miller, take him out of the equation. He's not available. Tyler Cleveland should be called up in September. And hear me out. Why not take the shot? He's of a more mature age as a prospect. His unique arm angle. Who else has a submarine arm out there? We talk all the time about giving different angles, and I'd love to have another lefty come in. But the reality is, this is sort of what we've got. I honestly wouldn't throw him out to the wolves, see what he's got. He's either going to sink or swim, and I believe the fella's going to swim. I love him as a person. I love what he's about. I love who he is on the mound. What's the worst that can happen? You've got another arm in your bullpen. If worse comes to worse and some of our, no-brainer options aren't available, like Bryce, and we're looking for, okay, well, what can we do? Throw Cleve out there. If you're going to have a roll of the dice with a guy that we really believe in. The submarine arm, the 0.0 ERA, the succeeding at every level, mature, have a crack. And what's the worst that happens? He's no good, but you gave the bloke a go. And I really believe he'd come through. So that's my hottest of hot takes. So please don't think I'm nah, don't worry about Bryce Miller, throw Cleve in. Definitely want Bryce up there, but I'm just saying if our A-grade options aren't there and we've got to think outside the box, I want him in the box. And of course, can't forget too our Matt Austin Kitchen. He's another guy that he's had a shot at the minor league level. I'd be very interested to see how Austin goes in spring training. Really believe he's got a lot left in the tank as well. He's just been dialed in for Tacoma. It's a 0.0 ERA. He's thrown 3 innings, and he's got a trio of strikeouts as well. So, as you can see, there is so much talent down there in the minors, and I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. While the top of our farm system is loaded, and it is getting so much attention, it's the guys that are flying under the radar that you've really got to focus on. This farm is deeper than anyone realises. And it's been a real honour to get to know these guys and to be able to share their stories. And that farm obviously got a hell of a lot deeper last month with the Mariners pulling off an incredible draft from top to bottom. And we're going to be cracking the lid on that class today with our first interview from it. So Jackson Steensma, he is everything Seattle loves in a baseball player. And it really was great getting to know the young bloke. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this week's interview. So during our draft recap a few weeks ago, we were absolutely astounded by the 2025 draft class and how deep it is. And as we went round by round, we were blown away by the tools and potential of these blokes, especially today's guest. He's been described as a hidden gem who we don't think he'll be hidden for much longer. At 6'4", he looks great on the mound. He's got a bit of a lower arm slot than usual for a fella his size, and the fastball metrics, they're music to our ears. It's as simple as that. Mariners 9th rounder, Jackson Steensma, welcome to the show, mate, and thanks so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, first question, and this is a very self-indulgent one. So, Nick and I did the draft recap. It was pretty long, so I called him in for some help, and we just thought everything that you had to offer as a baseball player was just exceptional. So, I post this clip on Instagram, you get around it, and a few weeks later, I'm hitting you up for a chat. So firstly, did you actually understand anything that we said? And second of all, how crazy is it that your name is now being spoken about around the entire world?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely surreal. I didn't think it would happen so quickly, but yeah, I mean, I did understand most of it. I mean, honestly, I just like started learning about this stuff when after I got hurt. So, had a lot more free time on my hands to learn about that stuff, like learn more about me as a pitcher and stuff.
So you're a big bloke. You're 103 193 centimeters in our measurements. You're 110 kilos. So we're kind of batting the same sort of height. So if you've got back problems, I completely understand where you're at. But you're a big guy now. You're athletic. Baseball is kind of your oyster. But if I can take you back to when you're a little tacker, what's your first ever memory of baseball and getting involved in the sport as a kid, mate?
Ooh, I mean, you're probably gonna hate me for this answer, but I first fell in love with baseball when I lived in New York City, back when I was like 5 years old, and all my classmates, all my friends in New York were big Yankees fans. So, I kind of, you know, joined along with them, became a big Yankees fan, fell in love with Yankees baseball at start. But as I grew older, definitely started loving, just the game of baseball more and more and, following all of Major League Baseball instead of, just the Yankees like I started out. I'd say, I guess, in terms of playing, I remember back in, Little League and stuff like that, just like I was bigger than everyone else. I was a little more advanced than everyone else. So I remember, kind of dominating Little League, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I could talk about, but those are the first ones that came to mind.
So I'm probably going to butcher this name, and geographically, when it comes to places that aren't New York, Seattle, Los Angeles, we're a little bit geographically challenged as Aussies. But you're from Byron Centre, so for those of us over the other side of the world, can you give me a rundown of what your hometown is like? Like what's there?
I mean, half of it is just like normal suburban neighborhoods. It's actually a pretty decently sized town. Like, there's a good amount of people in it. It's been growing a lot for, I'd say, the past 10 years. But so, like, half of it is like normal suburban, and then half of it is just like a bunch of cornfields and like farming land. So it's just like it's pretty much perfectly split in half. Like it's divided in half, like kind of the two areas I brought up.
So you've gone to high school there as well. You've thrown well. You've got a lot of potential, but you've also dabbled as a switch hitter at first base. I know you've gone full time to the mound now, but when you were younger, what did you enjoy more? Was it the batter's box or was it the mound?
Honestly, my entire career, like even when I was young, all the way through high school, and then eventually college when I stopped hitting, I never enjoyed it. I mean, I couldn't deal with batting 300 and failing 7 times. Like that was always like tough for me mentally. Like I just, got really upset hitting. Felt, hitting's really hard. So like you feel like you made a good adjustment. You're about to turn things around and it doesn't work. Um, that was like definitely frustrating and it caused, I guess, a lot of stress for me, especially like my freshman year of college because I still hit my freshman year of college. But I always had like the passion for pitching. Like I always loved pitching and, just making hitters look foolish. Like that's one of my favorite things about baseball is just dominating hitters. But uh, yeah, but like once I stopped hitting, it felt like a big weight was taken off of my chest, and felt like felt more freedom within the game, I guess.
So I found some numbers on my little FBI dive on the internet. So from Perfect Game, they had you listed at topping out about 89 miles an hour on the heater in 2021. And then from what it seems like to me, mate, sort of 2022 during the spring, you've put in some really hard work and you've topped the 90s and you've broken through that sort of 90s barrier. What was the feeling that you had when you first saw 90 on the gun?
Oh man, honestly, um, the first time I ever hit 90, I found out while I was in the middle of an outing. So like I didn't really enjoy it at first because I was still pitching, but afterwards, like I I actually had like later given up like 3 or 4 runs in the outing, but like I didn't care. I was like super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I finally hit 90. Like I've worked years for this, and kind of had to check myself because, like, obviously I didn't pitch great, but I hit 90. So, I mean, obviously it wasn't like the best story, but it's still like I was still like really excited.
2023, you've made your way to Appalachian State. You make 22 appearances out of the pen. You go 3-1. You've got 7 saves, and then in the final game of the season, you stretch yourself out. So you're 4.1 innings. You got 8 Ks. It's a big win, and then you sort of continue to play big in some big games to finish the tournament. Can I ask you a sort of a 2-part question here? Why did you choose App State? And then that's a pretty damn good first year that you've just had. How did you find that adjustment from high school to college ball?
So to answer your first question, App State was like, to be honest, it was the only school that offered me that I liked, that I like really enjoyed my visit, really enjoyed the coaching staff, really enjoyed like the people that I met there. So it was really an easy decision for me. And then honestly, just being able to like the easiest thing, I guess, in terms of adjusting to the college level was keeping the same mentality of just attacking hitters, almost like daring them to hit the pitch that I throw. So, um, yeah, just being on the attack, and attacking hitters really, and I found success doing that.
2024, you start to really build, mate. Like, it's 14 starts, it's 6-2 with a 4.03 ERA. Things for you, mate, are just on the absolute up and up. But then you ding your elbow up in the Sun Belt tournament. You require Tommy John. Can I ask you about the injury? Like, what happened? Did you feel good that day when you went on? And at the time, did you know that you'd done yourself a pretty big mischief?
Ooh. So actually going into that start, my elbow wasn't feeling that good. I had dealt with pretty much the issue like the last month of the season, and I kind of just pitched through it because I felt like the team needed me because we were really close to like making our first regional in like 15 years in school history. So I felt like in order to do that, I needed to be out there. So I pitched through it for like the last month. But just like I think it was the third inning, um, just got out there threw a changeup that I don't think it even got to the dirt. I think I threw it into the grass, um, and just felt like a little pop in my elbow. Like, but with like the adrenaline running and stuff, it didn't like hurt bad. I just knew something was off, and I knew like I wasn't gonna be able to continue. Just like it was just a weird feeling during that game, but afterwards, got back to campus after we were done with the tournament. Got an MRI, got it checked out, and they said either you can get the surgery now and miss the next college season, or you can get a PRP injection, which could potentially, keep it pain free, I guess, minimal pain, like for the next season, and you could pitch. And especially, it was my draft year, so I took the chance on the PRP because I felt like, obviously there was no way I was going to get drafted if I just didn't pitch. And, later, in the fall season before the season started, was just starting to get into like high intensity pens and stuff, and felt another pop. And this time it just like hurt so bad, like I couldn't even throw the baseball. So I knew like I had a feeling what it was. I later found out that I did need surgery. So that was pretty devastating. But obviously, like, I mean, the journey that I've been on the past year has definitely been a weird one. But honestly, like looking back, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I've learned so much. So yeah.
Yeah, I really love the mental side of the game, and exploring and promoting just how mentally tough you guys are as professional baseball players. So, can I just ask you, when you found out that you did have to have Tommy John, you were going to have an extended layoff. Baseball's been your life for such a long period of time. It's sort of you're hoping to get drafted. You've got a whole heap of hopes on that. How did you stay, physically and mentally strong and keep your spirits up? Was it trying to be around family and friends as much as you could? Was it faith? Was it just staying around the team? How did you get by?
I, I would say it was a little bit of everything, like you just mentioned. So around the time that I had the surgery, it was like winter break for school, so I was home, and I was able to spend a good almost a month with my family after surgery. So that was something I valued a lot, and definitely got me through like the toughest part. Because I mean, once you're out of surgery in the brace, you're not like a full functioning human. Like you can't use your right arm at all. So it was definitely very helpful to have my family around. Also, no baseball. Spent a lot more time in my Bible, just growing my faith, just finding out who I am as a person. Because once you have baseball all around you, you kind of just like take it for granted, and baseball becomes your personality. So I just kind of learned that I'm much more than a baseball player. And then another big blessing for me was I had really good teammates at App State that I was really close with. So they're very supportive, and checking on me, especially it meant a lot, especially since they had a season to play and they were playing, so they were pretty busy with that, but they still took time to see how I was doing. Just not leaving me for dust. So I'm very thankful.
And then physically, I guess you're so used to being up and about, working out every day, throwing a baseball. We had Harrison Kryling. I'm not sure if you've got a chance to meet him. I'm pretty sure he's down in Peoria at the moment. He's coming off Tommy John, and had him on the podcast, and he's showing me the brace, and looking like a complete bionic. So, what did you do to stop yourself having ants in your pants? Were you okay? I'm going to focus on my lower body and increasing the strength down there. Was it going for walks, hikes? Like, how did you stop yourself from going stir crazy?
Ooh, I mean, well, the first 2 weeks out of surgery, I wasn't allowed to do anything, like not even like break a sweat or anything. So it was actually really good timing. I went on a vacation with my family, so just relax, spent time with family. But after that, like I just spent a lot of time, like you said, working on strengthening my legs. And then by the time like I did that like for a week, and by the time I was ready to go back to campus, and the rehab on campus was pretty busy, so it took up a lot of my time. Just combining schoolwork and rehab. So I mean, I didn't really do anything crazy to spend some time, but I mean, yeah, nothing really crazy.
So you've sat out all of 2025 to heal up. Can you give me an update on where you're at so far, and any timelines or next sort of milestones that might be up there for you to get you ready to go back at it, as normal?
Yeah, so I'm around 8 months out from surgery. I got surgery back in December. I've been throwing for around 3 months now. And tomorrow's like the last day of my interval throwing, which is like the hard stuff, like, getting your throws in, really testing that new ligament. And tomorrow's actually the last day of that. So I'm really excited for that. And then once I finish that tomorrow, I'll deload next week and then build up for my first bullpen, which is in about a month. So I'm really excited for that as well. Um, and then I think I'll be throwing pens for a month, and then kind of just like a little like as I guess a wave, just building up intensity, and kind of like a staircase, like building up a intensity slowly and slowly and slowly until hopefully I'm ready to go for spring training next year, and then pitch a healthy season next year.
So you and I actually have something in common, mate, which I'm not sure that you're aware about because I keep it hidden, but we're actually both pretty big deals on campus at App State. So you're obviously a big deal there because you're exciting on the mound. I'm a big deal because I always choose them in college football on the PlayStation, and not to brag, but 6 national championships. You guys are more than welcome. So built that thing into a powerhouse. So I know what that college means to me. But for you, mate, what are some of your favourite memories from your time at App State?
Oh man, honestly, just the relationships I built with my teammates there. Like most of the teammates that I played with over my like 3 years there are my best friends. And I mean, just very thankful for them. And Just like the memories we made together on, during like team practices or a certain lift or, a road trip or something like that. Those are a lot of fun, and I'll cherish them forever.
So the scouts were talking about you. Doesn't matter that you had the injury. There was hype around you. The metrics, as we said, are just insane. What was the contact like between yourself and scouts and teams before the draft? Did people reach out? Were you walking in cold turkey? What was that pre-draft process like for you?
Initially, once I got hurt, it got pretty quiet from like just hearing from scouts and stuff. But as the college season progressed and as like my rehab progressed, and I was doing really well in my rehab, just like more and more teams started reaching out, and I'd say it got pretty busy around a month before the draft, just hearing from a bunch of teams and stuff. And then yeah, but like initially at first I was like I talked to my agent about this, and he was like, yeah, you're still gonna be a professional baseball player, but it's probably just gonna be delayed for a year. You're probably just gonna have to go back to college for another year. But it was kind of shocking when there was just more and more interest as the season progressed, and it was like you started to realize like there's a pretty good chance I could go this year. So it definitely like got more exciting like the closer to the draft. The draft itself was pretty stressful, but just thankful that the Mariners are taking a chance on me.
So it's round 9. Your name's called. Like it's got to be such an exciting moment. Did you have a draft day party? Who was around you on the day? Who did you get to share that news with straight away?
Yeah, well, I was just with my family, so I was with my mom, my dad, my sister, and then my grandma, and just spent the day together. And then really just like sat down, watched the draft, started stressing a little bit. But I guess the reason why I wanted a small draft party is because there was still a chance like I wasn't gonna get, the right deal, and there was still a chance I could go back to college because I still had a bunch of eligibility left. But yeah, I mean, yeah, not a really. I didn't have like a crazy draft party like you see on social media and everything, but there's still around some people that I value a lot.
So it's off to Arizona pretty soon after. And I was speaking with Grant Knipp, who we took him in last year's draft. He's in Arizona at the moment. I don't know if you've met him, but cracking bloke, like one of my really good mates that I've been able to create a friendship with out of this podcast. We speak regularly, and I touched base with him, and I was like, hey, like when should I reach out to these new guys? Like I don't want to be a pest. I know you guys are going to be busy, and I'm super critical of a lot of other podcasts. I feel like they don't give much back. They're like, can you come on? Like, hell, I flew to Everett last week to watch minor league baseball from Australia. Like, we are prospects on here. So he said that, the first couple of weeks are just insane for you guys. Can you give us a bit of insight? What's it like so far to be a Seattle Mariner? What have they had you up to? And yeah, what's that step up in intensity been like? Just not even from throwing, but just like learning about the game as well.
I mean, the first week we were in meetings probably a couple hours a day, just learning the Mariners way overall as an organization, but also like as pitchers, like what the pitching philosophy is here. Just things you need to really focus on, and just to have a successful professional career within this organization. So it was definitely a lot of helpful information. Just kind of getting us on board to start our careers. But I mean the quality of like resources and people around this organization. Like I've only been here in Arizona for a month, but it's definitely better than I was expecting coming out of college. So it's just a really cool experience so far.
So when I reached out to you, I was like, do you want to jump on and have a chat? And you were super keen, and we locked in a time and date. And I said to you before we started recording, like we are super high on you. Like I just think the metrics on you are just fantastic, the quality of person. So I messaged my mate Nick, who did the pre-draft rundown with us, and I was like, oh my God, you'll never guess who we've got on. Do you want to join? And he was super pumped because he's a big fan of yours as well. So Searsy, I want to throw to you for a minute or two just to try and break down that technical side with Jackson. So please take the steering wheel, mate.
Thanks, Nate. Um, I want to get into some of the sort of what you're hoping for out of the preseason. Obviously, it's your first. You said before you'd be back for spring training, and your first sort of high intensity sort of preseason in a couple of years. Obviously, the Mariners are known for their pitching development, and they have the high performance camp and a lot of other things that happen in Arizona. So, what are you sort of hoping for out of that process, and anything you're looking to work on?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like the most important thing for me is to get back out on the field. Next year, when the minor league season starts, I'll be like almost 2 years removed from pitching in a game. So that's definitely like the first step. But obviously, I understand that like my fastball is like my go-to. But I would also, like to gain a couple miles an hour. I think that'd be really helpful for me overall. Um, I think the biggest thing for me is definitely getting more consistent with my off-speed pitches. I felt like there's some games back in college one was working, and then like one week it would work, and then the next week I just had like no feel for it. So I really want to hone down on like the consistency of my off-speed pitches. But yeah, I mean, those are definitely like the first steps I want to work on for my career.
And so, have the team said anything to you about whether they intend to try and keep you as a starter or to sort of transition you towards a bullpen sort of later on? Like, have they had any conversations like that?
No, not really. I mean, I've only had one conversation about, I guess, like my pitching profile and me as a pitcher, but like they just want me to focus on my rehab right now. Like, it's not too big of a worry for us right now, but definitely, I would definitely love to start. But I mean, if they think, I would work better out of the pen, help this team win a World Series out of the pen, then I'm all for it.
Absolutely. And so, obviously, you said before that your fastball is your sort of go-to. I know you've got the slider. I know you've got the change. Um, the Mariners are really good at developing like new pitches or sort of refining pitches. I know some of the starters, come up with something new almost every off-season. So can you just talk a little bit more about sort of working on that breaking ball, whether it will be just the slide and the change, or whether you've got something else that you'd like to work on?
Okay, yeah. Well, I had so my sophomore year when I was starting, I had four pitches. So I had the four seam, the changeup, the slider, and a curveball. Um, but mainly fastball, changeup, mixing the slider and the curveball about same percentage wise. But we did talk about this a little bit, like maybe um, changing my slider to a cutter and then maybe the curveball to a sweeper. But definitely, there's something I could definitely experiment on. But they do think that like the four pitch mix right now that I have is pretty solid, and we haven't really said anything like talked to any at all about like adding an extra pitch or anything yet. But like I said, I mean, they're really just trying to get me healthy first. But it's definitely something I like to think about.
And the last one I've got for you is not really about pitching at all. Usually when I come on Nate's show, it's to talk about baseball cards, which is sort of my big thing. I just wanted to know, are you a baseball card guy? Do you have a collection of baseball cards? And what would it be like if you someday see yourself on a like top tier baseball card for the first time? What would that mean for you and your family?
Oh man, well I've never really been big into cards, baseball cards, but honestly, since I've been drafted, it's just like cool to see like people have like little cards in their lockers of like their teammates and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see. Definitely would like to get more into it, but yeah, like to answer the question about like potentially being on like a high value card one day, it would be pretty surreal. Like, I mean, it would boost your ego a little bit, but I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought about that, but it'd definitely be cool for sure.
So this draft class, like this is a cracking one. Like it's brim to the top with talent. You guys seem like a really solid group of people as well, which is one of the things that we've felt that the Mariners have done a really good job of. Is like they must honestly on draft day just have like a no arsehole policy because everyone's just been a fantastic human. So what I'd love to know, mate, is like you've been with your draft class for a little while. Who are some of your fellow like draftees that you've really connected with and made friendships with so far?
Yeah, I mean, they're all. It's like a really. It's like you said. It's a group of great guys. Honestly, like just like being in the rehab. Like I've been put right away into like the rehab group, so I don't spend that much time with other draft guys as much as they spend time with each other. So I've honestly like grown closer to like a bunch of the rehab guys there, but the people that I guess in the draft class I've grown closest to. I mean, Griffin Hughes is quite the character. He likes to talk a lot, and he's a really good guy too. So also Connie Derschlag, he was a free agent signing, but I've grown pretty close to him because he went to college a couple hours away from where I went to college, and we would play against each other every year. So we kind of know each other from that. Yeah, I mean, my first roommate was so they had us stay in a hotel for the first couple weeks for like just camp and stuff to get us situated. And my roommate was Dusty Revis. He's a good guy. Spent a lot of time early together, just trying to get just trying to find our way, really. Yeah, I mean, those are just some of the names off the top of my head, but I mean, it's a group of really good guys. There's not really anyone I could, complain about. So,
And what about the rehab guys? Like we've had, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. So we would have had Harrison Kryling, Grant Knipp, Will Riley. We've had a few guys on the show from that group. Has there been anyone in the rehab group that you've just been like, you're the sort of bloke I can just go and have a beer with? Who's been your good connection down there?
yeah, well, the first one, he's my roommate. It's Dan Odekirk, really big guy. He's been in rehab for quite a while, but he's a really good guy, and hopefully he should be back in game really soon. Also, been spending a lot of time with I think most of them. Honestly, most of the guys were drafted last year. So like Thomas Higgins, Grant Knipp, Jermon Fajardo. My catch play partner has been Tyler Goff. Sorry, for pretty much every day we've been playing catch together because we're on like the same track, I guess, in terms of rehab. So those are just a bunch of the guys that been spending the most time with up at the complex.
And when you're not at the facility, mate, like when baseball isn't the thing that's right in front of you, how do you like to relax and spend your time? Like who is Jackson Steensma away from a baseball mound?
I'm pretty chill. I like to relax, watch TV, play video games. Starting to get into golf now that I can, swing a golf club. So I'll be spending a lot more time on the golf course pretty soon here. So, I mean, pretty simple. I don't like to do too much, but, it's definitely enough to get my mind off of, a long day of baseball and stuff. So.
And I'm sure there's been a million and one people who have helped you along the way, mate. And a lot of people that you'd probably love to give a shout out to, give some credit to, show some love to. So who are some of the people that maybe have had your back that you sort of go, yeah, without you, this would have been a tougher road? Like whose support has meant the most to you along your journey?
100%, like by far and away, it's been my parents. They've sacrificed so much just for me to have to be here. It's like looking back, it's actually like crazy, like amount of time they've spent with me traveling for baseball, how much, money they spent for me to have the right equipment to, and like paying for all the travel as well. Just making sure that, I had like the best, I guess, resources that I could possibly have to, make my dream come true. And they backed me 100%, like the whole way. So, I mean, like early when I first, told them I was like, I really want to, do this as my job and actually pursue this dream. There's some days where, they wanted it more than I did. So there's also a lot of accountability in there too. So I'm very thankful for what they've done for me up to this point and, what they'll do for me in the future as well.
So not to hold you up too long, mate, because I really do appreciate your time. Like I said earlier, we were so excited to get you on. We honestly think the world of you and your profile. But I started this podcast because I don't like a lot of the other podcasts. I feel like they will want to get you on, but then they'll be the first to shit on you when you have a bad performance. Whereas for us, it's all positive vibes. It's sharing people's stories. It's getting around people and helping them out. So I just want people like, oh yeah, I'm coming on Mariners Down Under. Oh yeah, that's Nate. He's genuine. Like, come on, it's a good vibe. So we're going to look after you. We're going to send you a T-shirt with that's the back of it with our logo with the kangaroo on it. We're going to send you some Tim Tams as well. Nick will nod his head in agreement, but these are the greatest chocolate biscuit you will ever have in your life. I sent Grant 3 packs like last week or the week before to refill him. So I'm going to send you a bit of a thank you, but we do really rely on recommendations. Like, I won't bullshit you. It's pretty hard being around the other side of the world. Like, I'm lucky. I've got Ty Pete on next week. We're lucky, but sometimes it's tough. So we do require recommendations. And like there's a couple of guys from your draft class I'd actually give my left nut to have on. So who are some recommendations that you would give us? Who should we have on the podcast? But keeping in mind, whoever you do recommend, you've got to help us with the assist to get them on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely, I would say my first choice is Griffin Hughes. I think you'd really enjoy having him on. If he, obviously, if it doesn't work out, I think, maybe Isaac Lyon or who else? Maybe or Lucas Kelly. Those are definitely ones I would recommend for sure.
You can see us smiling like Cheshire cats over here because they're like, there was not a bad name in this draft class. Like, everyone was just insane. But mate, I just want to thank you so much for your time this morning. Your willingness to come on, like that means the world to us to be able to share your story. And we'll make sure we touch base and continue to stay in touch over your journey. And just want to thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me as well. Looking forward to what's in store. So, thank you.
All right, so a massive thank you to Jackson. Really cracking young bloke. Really enjoyed getting to chat to him, and I'm really excited for what his future holds. Like we were saying in there, like the metrics are off the charts, and he just seems like a young guy that is just really willing to put his head down and his bum up and work his tail off and be the best version of himself that he can be. So I want to thank you again for joining me for this podcast. It's been great. I really think we found our niche here. Like I get to talk a little bit of Mariners to begin with, and then we just get into these incredible interviews and talk to these prospects and share their stories. So I believe what we have here is very unique. I believe what we have here is it's needed and it's wanted, and our listener numbers show that. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this ride. It's going to continue. We've got a hell of a lot more coming, but please get around our giveaway. Get us to 1,000 followers on Instagram. We'll reward you with some signed stuff, and there's plenty more to come. But we're going to have quite a few episodes dropping in quick succession. We've got a lot of interviews lined up. Teddy McGraw will be in a couple of days. So make sure you stay with us. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and go Mariners.